Hey everyone, welcome to Weirdly Human. I am Ben Eubanks, your host, and I'm really glad you're here with us today. Recently, you probably heard an episode with Conrad Riddle, episode 212, where we got into some of the things that frontline workers need today. Well, we're going to get into a conversation with Micki Sievwright from Andersen Windows and Andersen Corporation. And we're going to talk about the same kind of things. See, Micki and Andersen, they're a client of a company called MangoApps, and Mango is working with them on building an infrastructure so that their internal people, all those frontline workers, can stay connected so they can understand communications, they can keep tabs on things, and they know what's going on. And so this is going to be a great conversation. You'll hear that session that was played back in that live stream and learn from Micki. She's just a ball of energy. You'll enjoy it so much. Here we go.
Don't conduct your analysis in isolation because data is so incredibly powerful.
Not defending just the tribe, but defending the organization.
Those creative people that you really want to keep empowered, keep excited, keep motivated, keep thinking.
A good experience pays dividends down the line.
Stereotypes tend to break down in proximity.
Welcome to We're Only Human, a podcast about human resources, business, technology, and the workplace. My name is Ben Eubanks, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Hey everyone, so happy to be here with you today. We've been hearing some great ideas around how we can serve our frontline workforce, how we can take care of the needs they have, how we can match those up with the needs of the business. And I'm excited to have Micki here with me from Andersen, where we're talking about some of the stuff that they're doing with their workforce, some of the ways they're serving them, keeping the lines of communication open, all that good stuff. Micki, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So before we get to some of the fun stuff we're going to dive in today, would you take a minute and tell the audience more about who you are and what you do, please?
Happy to. At core, I'm a storyteller. And so I serve as senior manager of our corporate communications function. We have 5 people on our team dedicated to internal communications for both our desk-based employees and our frontline workers. At Andersen, we have about 14,000 team members across North America, and 2/3 of those are frontline. So folks who are doing the work, putting together our windows and doors. And so for us, it is paramount to be able to reach them with important information relevant to where they work, who they work with, and what information they need to know about the business.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to ask you, and you started off with this word a minute ago, but one of the things that I saw in your bio before we started recording here was that you are a culture storyteller. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think people connect to stories. It's the human element of everything we do, and people connect with people. And so, what my background is in journalism. And so we approach our company intranet as our newsroom. And we want to make sure our team members are informed, are engaged, are inspired, and through stories, connecting them with people who they may never work directly with, but they can learn from and really be inspired through storytelling across the company, across 14,000 people. So we really, traditional interviews, lots of video storytelling, all the different ways that we can get that in front of people and engage them.
Love that. I have a good friend at South Airlines, and that's one of their focus areas too. It's like
great.
we got to share these stories of the good stuff happening because we can't assume everybody else is going to hear that from someone side by side. And that's exactly what you touched on. Is it's your job to elevate those and make sure everyone gets a good spotlight on that. So talk to us for a little bit here about the challenges of that, because you mentioned like we have the desk-based workforce. Like we can send an email, we can send some notification. They're good to go. They're going to see it probably at some point in their day. But other people are working, building doors, building windows, as you mentioned. And so talk about the challenge of creating this connected employee experience for people who are on your frontline team.
Absolutely. And we've been about 3 years into this journey. Just last month was our 3-year workversary, right, with this wonderful platform through MangoApps. And what we sought was something that would really give access to everyone. So prior to using a modern intranet platform, 2/3 of our employees had no email access and no intranet access. They received their communications in the plant through digital signage, through leader talking points, and just traditional posters printed out in break rooms. It was very much a one-way. It didn't reach everyone. It also was only in English. So it was very 2D, right? And so what we really sought was to enhance that employee experience from a modern perspective, from a secure and digital platform, and something that would be easy enough for the majority of our team members to access and to find what they needed. One really specific anecdote is before this platform, our frontline workers did not have a way to digitally check their paycheck. That is the number one thing that's important to you as a worker. You want to make sure your paycheck has gone through and you can see it at any moment, 24/7. And so when we first launched this, after we did a solid pilot with some of our frontline employees, that was the number one selling point to get them to adopt the platform, to come back to it. And I tell you what, I mean, I hear from people, not only are they click, go to our quick links, see their paycheck, but they're stopping to read the news. They're stopping to explore career opportunities. And so it's really opened a new world for everyone.
Okay, so other than gamifying this with access to your pay stub, which is brilliant, what is your biggest tip for getting people to actually come in, see the news, see the things that your team's putting together? Because you said there's a team of, I think, 5, correct? So on the comms team, trying to build these things out, putting all this effort into it. And you and I both know, though, that lots of employees don't always catch that. So what's your best tip for someone listening in out there for how to get them to either go check it or to receive that?
Yeah, we created advocates and champions across the company. And so in doing that, we sought a platform where we could build communities within the broader, we call it the circle. It really is all about making sure everyone connected to Andersen across our whole enterprise is connected. And so within there, we have specific groups for where you work, your location, and through the automation, it's updated daily on if your HR data says that you work at that specific site, you have access to that group. You know when the shoe mobile is coming, what volunteer event is going on that week. And so we have 23 facility groups. What we've done with that is then engage the local teams, many who are our business HR partners, others who've raised their hand and asked for communication upskilling. And so we've partnered with them and essentially trained the trainers. So we have 23 of those groups that are communicating on a regular basis what's really relevant to them from a local level. And then I'm going to talk about also, we have employee resource groups, right? So these are affinity groups, groups that really bring community and inclusion to Andersen. We have 9 of those. And so those are publicly available groups built on the same platform, looks and feels the same as our facility groups. But because these are public, anyone can come in and read the news. They can also click join to have that news served to them each week in their weekly post digest, kind of their weekly newspaper delivered on Friday afternoons. Yeah. So we've really been able to take our team of 5 and just multiply that to others who are sharing the news from their own local teams or their employee resource groups.
I love the story there. I have 2 questions. Number 1, shoemobile? Did you say
shoemobile? Yes.
What
when you're working in a factory, you have to have steel toe boots.
Yes.
And so we often have this big bus come in, or there's certain sites that actually have a little shoe shop inside of our facilities, and they make sure that everybody has the right safety and protective gear that they need.
Keeping employees shod properly. Okay, so that's great. I love that. Yeah. And then you mentioned this piece where someone says, hey, I'd love to help out Micki. Can I be a champion for my local area? Sure, we're going to give you some training. What sort of things are involved in that upskilling piece there to help someone be ready to support in that way?
It's fun because the platform we chose, there's a lot of consumer grade experiences. So if you're someone who updates your LinkedIn profile, who goes out on Facebook, updating and creating a post or managing a group isn't that much different. And that's a great thing, right? And so what we were able to do was engage a number of people to show them the strategy behind what you want to share. So our team built the templates. Here's what your homepage is going to look like. Here's the important links to resources that your team members need. And from there, think about what kind of posts. And we've helped them with different calendaring, right? Understanding what goes on by the different seasons or the different quarters. What do your employees need to know? And then there's so many bells and whistles within just the story. There's polls, so you can ask a pulse question, right? Did you enjoy this volunteer event? Do you want more? Do you want more stories like this? You can tag people. There's just so many ways to engage people from the platform that really draws them in. And so in giving all these tools and hosting communication office hours, so if someone's got a question, they can come find us, and just making sure the instructions are out there for them to understand and to engage and to know the why. If they're going to spend time doing this, they can see people are reading it. And it really does stand out to then their leadership as well. And so we're really pleased to say that after year 1 of our 14,000 team members, we hit 76% adoption. And that we're very, very proud of because sure, it'd be great to have 100%, but that might never be attainable based on where people are at and how they want to engage. But we're just super jazzed that we've been able to hit that many people, including going from 0 for our frontline workers to over 6,000 now who are using the platform on a weekly basis.
I think that's a great call out there because we get in the HR, the comm space, we get drawn to that. Well, everybody should be doing this. 100% is our target. Instead, I want to put words in your mouth. So clarify if this is what you meant. But for those 76% of employees that are showing up, we're going to make it great for them. If someone else comes along, great. But like, we're not going to just chase that 100% metric endlessly because instead, let's just be great for the ones that are showing up and make sure it's a good experience for them. Is that fair?
It is. And I mean, people learn in different ways. Someone might not be that digitally savvy and want to walk up to a computer kiosk in their plant or download an app. So they're going to their daily meetings with their supervisors and one of their coworkers is giving them an update, or they're seeing in a town hall the video from our CEO rather than from the intranet. What we've seen though is as time has gone on, those folks who kind of questioned it in the beginning, weren't quite sure, they're starting to come over and take note. And you just see really beautiful, really exciting comments from our stories from these frontline workers, their leaders, other people across the enterprise, and they're engaging with one another through comments in different ways that it just wouldn't be there holistically. And so I think it's a good reminder. 100% is 100%. But if you can go from 0 to 76, it's real engaging. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yes. I'm thinking about all the times where I was tasked with, hey, handle comps too, in addition to the other things you've got to deal with. And like for me, one of the greatest points of pride is when people actually paid attention to them, read them, knew what was going on, and I could hear them discussing it elsewhere. And for you, you probably get to that same joy of like people are in the know, they know what's going on, but also you talked about not just hey, you're in this group, so you're going to hear what's going on in your group, but also there's chances for you to opt into other things that would be relevant to you. So you feel like you're in the right place. Like you feel we see you, all those, the ERGs, those type of things. So I love that intersection of pieces there. I want to make sure to call that out for the audience because yes, sure, you'll get updates because you're at this location and this is your job type or stuff like that. But to say, hey, I want to jump into this group because they care about things that I care about, and I want to feel like I'm in a community of people that are going to support me. Those things are really exciting, and you don't often think of that in the context of frontline workforce. Like you think about that with other types of workers, office workers, and so on, corporate workers, but the frontline piece, you may not associate those things. I'm glad you called it out because there are people too at the end of the day.
So can I share 2 comments from some of our frontline workers?
Absolutely.
These were both on from an annual survey that we do. And so we're really excited. We do this annually. We ask everyone on the circle for their feedback. From one frontline worker who said, I like that I can access information independently without needing others. And so just think of that unlock. Yeah, you can go check your digital paycheck, but you can also find information on your benefits, information about company performance. Another person said, I can find nearly all company info I need right at my fingertips. I can connect company-wide with military connections, and that's one of our employee resource networks. So even just feeling that pride in being able to go out and find and connect with a community that you relate to. And at fingertips, this is a mobile device user. And so we wanted to make sure someone could pick up their phone and connect, get the information they need, and then go on with their day. We're just really proud of that. We really are.
Well, I think about this big problem you're solving. One of the things we see in our research is that about 2 out of 3 companies, leaders like you and the others listening here, tell us that when we make a decision, we expect our managers to flow it down to our people. And you talked about team meetings, things like that. When we ask the workforce, how do you find out the things you need to know? 7 out of 10 say I have to figure it out by myself. And so they're having to do more of that hands-on scouting around in addition to all their other actual work duties. And as you said, putting that power in their hands gives them a sense of control, of autonomy that's hard to replicate with something posted on the bulletin board in there, or having to be at a huddle in the morning. It may not fit their schedule because they're dropping a kid off at school, like whatever else.
Yeah, certainly. And for many of our frontline workers where English is not their native language, there are many opportunities. We have over 50 languages available through our in-plant kiosk computers. And then there's about 30 on the mobile app. So for example, a story about our business performance. They will see a video in their town hall from our CEO. They can go back and watch that and read the story. And the platform, once they update their settings, they could see it in Burmese. They could see it in Spanish. They could see it in French. And so their supervisor may see it in English, may even send them a link via the messaging that we also have on the platform for our frontline workers. And then they can see it in their own language. And so it's that accessibility through language, which was also just really important to us. And we're in year 3 and we're still reminding people where that is and how they can get access to it. And the jaws just drop. It's really cool. And it's modern technology. You're not paying an agency to translate this PDF and that PDF. You are using modern, likely AI technology to translate content.
Blow your mind as someone who's been in comms and journalism for a while. Just think instantly someone can see this in the way that they need to access it without me having to spend all this extra time and lag time. They finally get it 2 weeks later. Those sorts of things aren't a problem.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And it just helps all of our team members feel included and that we're meeting them where they are. And I think that's just what feeling valued is about. And you said it earlier, not assuming that everyone knows everything. We bring that through our storytelling. We bring that through, I think we have about 150 different web pages where people can look through information or understand what does that team do. Don't assume people even know the address of our headquarters. Make it all accessible for people. And we've been able to do that.
Well, I want to ask you one other thing that's like maybe a little bit not nitpicky, but like very specific. But you said a word earlier and I flagged it in my notes over here. You mentioned relevancy and you touched around this a little bit like on the communication piece for languages. But give me some other examples of relevancy and communication. Yeah. I think about when I worked for an organization years ago, I was one of the people out there on site and we get the communications on an email where I could see that after work. I could check that. Oh, yeah, we had a party at the corporate office today. I'm getting those notifications and I'm not invited. I'm like out here on the island. Yep. It felt very weird and awkward. So talk about the relevancy piece, you don't mind.
So I mentioned we have 23 local groups. What I love is through our automation, through our HR information systems that go into our MangoApps platform, we can segment all the different audiences and communications, right? And so to your point, we are incredibly intentional and strategic about what messages and really even what format, what grade level of content, what visuals go in front of which audience. And so any given week, we're probably communicating to 20 different audiences from just your office-based, desk-based employees about maybe there's an IT update coming through to your frontline workers at one distinct location about, hey, leadership is coming to visit next week. Let's all be prepared for this. And what we've found is people appreciate that. They still want to get the news. And we do find also great feedback from an everyone post, we call it, right? So if it's business performance, it's our CEO talking to people. Our CEO wants everyone to know this. And we're really intentional about that. So then how we write the story is we want you who's reading this today to feel like you're part of our business performance because you are. So it's amazing to have the different segments. And I'll tell you, for our campaigns and communication plans, when we work directly with a lot of our HR partners, again, they're kind of wowed. Okay, here's our communication, but we have 4 different audiences. Yep, we can do that all through the circle. So it's one place, one hub they go to get their news and information. And by the way, it's also served to them each Friday in their wrap-up newsletter. Yeah.
Yes, that digest there. You said newspaper, I feel like earlier, and I was like, journalism days. Yeah.
I was a print journalist, so I still hold to that. And it really is, it comes back to just storytelling, and that's how you engage people. And so it might be a dry topic, but if you can relate it to someone and help them move on with their work or their day, or give them a little, maybe a laugh, maybe inspire them through a story, it's all worth it.
Fine. I love this. So one of the things that I want to call out here is you and I were connected by the team at MangoApps. You've mentioned them a couple of times, but you also said, listen, this is called the Circle at Andersen. The Circle is actual community for them. So employees may not ever know that it's Mango behind the scenes, but they're the ones helping provide this framework you're talking about in this conversation, the tools, the technology, all that stuff behind the scenes. But for the employee side, it's just the Circle. It's branded that from the Andersen perspective so that you and the team are thinking about how you communicate, the brand colors, like all those little things are connected in and it feels seamless to the employees.
It really is out of the box. It's a fantastic platform. In the last 3 years, we've had amazing opportunity to build a relationship with their customer success team and to also watch the company grow and see the capabilities. there's a whole platform I can log into and connect with other clients and say, what's your best practice for this? How do you handle this situation? And so they've made these connections, but at the end of the day, our employees, they see our culture, they see our colors, they see our branding, and we're powered by MangoApps, but it is the circle from Andersen and from the corporate communications team. And so they can really connect with all of that. But my goodness, there was no way we could have built this platform on our own. So to be able to use that vision and that platform from a modern internet perspective, mobile first and technology with all of that, just the access, and it blows my mind. And I'm really privileged to be able to work on it. I am.
I said that earlier, but I'll touch on that again. Is where those who have done it manually, the hard way, to have something that helps you to make that, to scale it up, to scale it impact, to scale that reach to your people so they can be informed, they can be inspired. The word you used earlier, so they can be engaged and connected, is so, so powerful. Thank you so much for joining us for the conversation, Micki. I've appreciated it. I know the audience loves your passion for this, for communicating, and I hope you all took some good notes, because I know I did, on the good things Andersen's doing that we can all probably learn from. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Everybody else out there, stay tuned for more good stuff. Going right up. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I'm honored to have you as a listener. If you enjoyed this episode, please take 10 seconds to rate it at iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, if you know a friend that could benefit from today's conversation, please pass it their way. After all, a rising tide lifts all ships. To see show notes, sponsor information, and our full show archives, visit onlyhumanshow.com.